Hey guys, at this point, I think I've played enough of Black Ops 6 to give you guys my full review of the game. I have played through the campaign. I have extracted at round 36 on both of the zombies maps, and I have played about 30 hours of the multiplayer if you include the beta time. And I'm going to include the beta time because I'll be honest, practically nothing's changed from the beta. Uh, so I think I can give you my full review. Normally, I give you guys my pros and my cons for the game and then, give you my final verdict. But since Call of Duty is kind of like 3 games in one, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm just going to give you my overall thoughts on each of the 3 modes and then give you my final verdict of the game. And we'll start with campaign first because this is the gameplay that's in the background. I actually really enjoyed the campaign. Now, this is the first Call of Duty that I've ever reviewed on the channel because normally I skip these games because I'll be honest, like, they just don't really interest me too much. I'm all Call of Duty out. I used to play Call of Duty a lot back in the olden days, but I kind of fell off probably around Infinite Warfare, maybe a little bit before then. Maybe like Black Ops 4, Infinite Warfare, right around there. So I haven't really been too big into the Call of Duty community. As a result, I haven't really played a lot of the campaigns. So the last Call of Duty campaign that I actually played was Modern Warfare, I think 2019 is when that came out. And while that campaign was all right, I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of like this tactical Bravo 6 going dark, like realistic type of Call of Duty campaign. I wasn't really a fan when they tried to like change the entire marketing for Call of Duty to be like a mil sim realistic game because I'm on PC. We have actual realistic mil sims and we've had them for years, right? Call of Duty to me has always been like kind of a silly over the top action movie type of experience in the campaign. And I'm happy to say, at least for me, this is absolutely that. This is full on Black Ops, like espionage, a little bit of like politics for the time, just weird like Elseworld story. There's backstabbing and then backstabbing of backstabbing, double crossing the double crossers, all sorts of that like cool espionage spy stuff that you expect from like classified missions and all sorts of weird stuff. And I really like the campaign of this game. I really do. I think that they do a good job of diversifying the missions. They've got some stealth missions. They've got some heist missions. They've got this mission that I'm showcasing, which is like an open world mission, which I didn't even know Call of Duty did. Apparently, they've done this a couple times now. This is a completely new concept to me. I think that the voice acting was quite good. I think that the mission structure that they have where you go on a main mission and then you come back to this hideout and you get to spend money on like a bunch of upgrades that are going to make you stronger for your next missions, and that kind of incentivizes you to loot the areas and do optional objectives in the actual mission so you can get more money and you can buy more upgrades. I thought all of that was done very, very well. And I like the story that they told. It does run a little bit long towards the end. Like towards the end, I was like, all right, let's wrap it up because this is longer than I expected. I remember COD campaigns being like 4 to 6 hours, not very long. This took me like 9.5 hours. So this was actually a pretty long like Call of Duty campaign. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the time. I think some of the best moments in the campaign are actually when you go back to the hideout and you have all the characters kind of talking about what just happened, ruminating on their thoughts on everything. And that actually has some serious story bits to it that are entirely missable if you just, mission. And they have even secrets to find in the hideout. I gotta say, overall, very impressed with the campaign. If you do like the more like serious, gritty stuff, this is absolutely not for you. I mean, literally one of the missions is basically just zombies. So, it's not for you if you want that like super serious, gritty Call of Duty that I feel like they've kind of been going for recently. But for me, I really had a good time with it. And speaking of zombies, let's talk about zombies a little bit. Now, I'm going to be honest, I am not the biggest zombies guy. I loved zombies back in World at War and Black Ops 1. I absolutely loved it. back when it had a more like scary, spooky feel to it. And as it started getting sillier and sillier, especially like Black Ops 3, where it's like, oh, you have these bows that create giant tornadoes and yada yada. I was like, okay, you kind of lost me. And I know that's a little strange, right? Because I just talked about how I enjoy more silly Call of Duty than serious Call of Duty. But what I enjoy more than silly Call of Duty was spooky zombies. Like spooky Call of Duty, I thought was really fun. So I'm not the biggest zombies guy, but I did play a bit of Cold War Zombies, and I gotta be real, this just feels like Cold War Zombies to me. I had people telling me, you know, up to the release of the game, oh, there's gonna be a classic zombie mode. There's gonna be no loadouts in that, no armor plates, no health bars above the zombies' heads, no names, no damage numbers. Yeah, I don't know who told you guys that, but that's not the case at all. This is entirely Cold War Zombies. You have your extraction, you have the armor plates, you have the floating damage numbers and the health bars, you have the mini map, right? All of this stuff. And yes, you can customize the HUD and turn it off. And I most certainly did. I put that classic HUD on right away and got rid of the damage numbers and the health bars and all of that. But, you know, natively, this is Cold War Zombies through and through. And even when you take away the health bars and the mini map and all of that, it still does most definitely feel like modern zombies. It still doesn't have that feel of the classic zombies. You know, without the loadouts and all of that we used to get. And of course I know why they have the loadouts. They have the loadouts because people love to like grind zombies instead to level weapons, and they don't want to have to like try and get the gun through a mystery box or something. I totally understand why they do it, but it's just not necessarily for me. But I will say I had a pretty good time. You know, I did a very minimal amount of the Easter eggs. I'm sure there's tons of stuff I haven't found, and I didn't do any like of the main Easter eggs, but I did get the wonder weapon in one of the levels. And, you know, like I said, I did make it to round 36 and extract on both of them. And that was like 2.5 hours doing that. So I can't even imagine, you know, how long it takes to get to some of the really high rounds in the game. But zombies overall, like if you like the modern zombies formula, I think it was fun enough. It didn't blow me away. It wasn't anything insane. There is definitely a grind there because you can research your perks, and as you go through, you'll unlock little additional abilities that you can give to those perks. And you can do that for all of the perks. You can do it for all of the ammo types, and then all of the like special ability things that you put on your class. So there's definitely some grinding there, especially because getting to round 36 and extracting only got me 2 of those little additional abilities for the perks. And every single perk and equipment and everything has 6 available. So there's a lot of grinding there if that's your thing. But yeah, overall, I did like zombies. I thought it was fun enough, but it's still, you know, modern zombies. So you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. It's not the same that it used to be. That's most definitely for sure. But pretty good time nonetheless to just kind of zone out with your boys or whatever. And I think the maps were pretty good as well. I don't really have an issue with either of the maps. One map is like your beginner map in a city, in a little town. And then one map is, you know, the more complicated, has a bunch of different floors and secret labs and stuff. Definitely harder to train zombies on that one. And has a boat that you can get in and like go to little islands and all sorts of stuff. So that map's definitely a little bit more complicated. But yeah, I did enjoy both of the maps. I think it's fun enough. In terms of the multiplayer, this is just, in my opinion, Cold War's multiplayer, but worse. The visibility is worse because you don't have the health bars above people's heads anymore. And the visibility in Cold War was already quite bad. So visibility in this game is somehow even worse. Because you can't just, you know, blindly shoot at the health bars anymore since they're not there. The maps are terrible. I think literally the best map in this game is like a 6.5 out of 10. All of the maps are very, very bad. And that is really unfortunate. I think that the face-off maps, the 2v2, not the face-off, the gunfight maps, you know, the 2v2 maps, those are actually pretty good. I played a few of those, and those seemed pretty good. but the actual like 6v6 maps are terrible. It's hard to see people. It's full of like crazy head glitches that are very overpowered. Really, really bad map design. I was under the impression we would at least have firing range and Nuketown, but I guess those are being added later. So as of right now, I would say there's literally not a single good map in the entire game. And everyone I've talked to completely agrees with me. Nobody likes the maps in this game. I don't know what the hell they were doing. But yeah, like I said, literally the best map in the game is probably like a 6.5 out of 10 there, and most of them are significantly below that. The netcode is also atrocious in the game. I was hoping it was just the beta, but it wasn't. There is so many situations of shoot first, die first, where you shoot a guy 4 to 5, maybe even 6 times. He turns around and kills you in like 3 or 4. And I know what you're probably saying. You're probably saying, oh, Zach, that's a skill issue. 1, no, everybody is complaining about it. 2, I went into hardcore to see if maybe it was a skill issue. I was like, oh, okay, well, if I'm in hardcore, everybody has like 20 health. I can kill people in 1 shot, so I don't have to worry about shoot first, die first. Nah, man, you still get hit markers in hardcore. With guns, there's no way you should get hit markers with. I'm talking like DMRs, these guns that do like 70 damage a bullet or 60 damage a bullet, right? Literally 3 times the health that people have. Shooting a man point blank, no cover, no anything, and you're getting hit markers on them. And then they turn around and kill you. So it's most definitely a netcode issue. They're just giving people hit markers when like they shouldn't be getting hit markers. Like on your side, it's saying that you hit, but on the actual server side, you're not hitting. It's most definitely like an error in the communication for sure. And I don't know why they're still giving you hit markers, but honestly, I got to a point in multiplayer, I just turned off the hit markers entirely, and I just lived in ignorance of just like, yep, nope, I must have missed some shots. Because it is so frustrating, like shooting a dude like 5 times, 6 times. He turns around with the same gun you have and kills you in like 3 bullets. You're just like, what the hell? And especially when you consider the fact that in this game, headshots don't do more damage, because they wanted to keep the time to kill consistent. So you're doing the same damage if you're shooting somebody in the leg as if you're shooting them in the head. There are some exceptions to this, like assault rifles. I think they changed it so they do like 10% more damage. But like if you're using an SMG, for example, you have the same exact time to kill as shooting someone in the leg as the head, unless you put on a specific barrel that increases your headshot damage. So like this is not a skill issue. This is an actual netcode issue, and it feels terrible when it happens. And I've seen it across the board. Some of the best players in the world, like Scump, are saying it as well. It's really, really bad. So that combined with the really bad maps, multiplayer's not that great. Now they do have the Omni movement, and Omni movement is fine. It's fine. It's not this game-changing thing that's going to completely change how you play Call of Duty. Most of the time, people are still just jump shotting, or they're sliding around corners because the slide is insanely fast. There's still a lot of like drop shotting, you know, that's going on, which is very similar to what's been in COD for years upon years. But it is cool that now you can dive to the side and backwards, so you can do some pretty neat stuff. And I do actually think, I think they call it the supine prone. The prone where you can like fully turn around. I think that is a positive addition. I think that should at least stay in the game, because that does feel really good. Feels way better than the clunky prone they've had the whole time, where like your whole body, you know, is turning as you're prone. That just feels so silly to me. But yeah, overall, my thoughts on Black Ops 6 are the campaign, definitely enjoyable. The zombies, if you like modern zombies and you like Cold War zombies, you'll like it. And then multiplayer, I think it's pretty rough, dude. The maps are really bad. The Omni movement doesn't feel that transformative and new. I didn't even touch on the skill-based matchmaking. I'm not going to go into that. Everybody has their own thoughts on it, but skill-based matchmaking is here and it's crazy strong. On top of that, all of the netcode issues where you shoot first, die first. I think multiplayer is definitely the weakest facet of this game until they fix it, you know, with patches and add more maps, because hopefully they will be doing that soon. So for me, I think that, like, when you consider that this is on Game Pass, I think that I would honestly pay the $12 for Game Pass just for the campaign. I think it's most definitely worth as a Game Pass game. Now, if you're on PlayStation, which a lot of COD people are, personally, for me, I would not pay $70 for this game. I think unless you're like a really big zombies fan, or like the campaign is your primary reason you get a Call of Duty, I'd say wait a little bit for the multiplayer to get its bugs fixed, because the multiplayer is not great here, but the campaign is solid. And if you do like, you know, Cold War zombies, then you'll probably like the zombies quite a bit in this game as well. So I think if I had to give a rating to just all of Black Ops 6, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. You know, for me, 5 is average, 6 is above average, and 7 is good. I think it's above average. I don't think it's good. Maybe once they fix, like, they add some actual decent maps to multiplayer and they improve the netcode of multiplayer, then I could see like multiplayer being more of a positive for the game. But at least for me, I think that you have a solid campaign here and you have a decent enough zombies experience that it definitely would make it worth your time if you're a fan of those. And I think it's especially worth your time if you have Game Pass, because it's kind of just a no-brainer at that point. But let me know what you guys think. Obviously, this is a tough game to like review, since, like I said, it's kind of 3 games in one. It's a little bit difficult to review something like this. But, you know, when I look at other games I've given a 7 or a 7.5 to, especially this year, I just don't think it hits those levels of those games at all. And I just don't see myself ever spending $70 for the game, you know, just to be honest, in the current state that it's in, I would never do it. So for me, I can't really give it a good, but, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have you been loving the game? Do you absolutely hate the game? Do you think Call of Duty is just copy pasta every single year? I always love seeing your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. If you want to see more reviews, feel free to subscribe. I do, you know, play basically all of the new releases. I buy them myself. I give you guys the unbiased review. We are going to be doing Dragon Age Veilguard here, which I think is probably going to be one of the most controversial games in the past several years. So stay tuned on the channel for that. That should be coming out. It comes out tomorrow, and then I should be, you know, having the review out hopefully within a week or so. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. See all of you in the next video, or Stream Rooney. Bye bye.